Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of our deep dive into the chaotic world of Battletech pirates. Last time, we covered their history, tactics, tech, and the legends who made them infamous, like Lady Death, Trevaline and Vance Rezak. The response was incredible, and I've got to give a massive shout out to Helkerx26, a legend in the Battletech YouTube community, for their awesome comment on part 1. They loved the rundown on pirate origins and suggested a video on the Star League's formation and the wars leading up to it. That's coming soon, I promise, but today, we're doubling down on pirate madness with a twist. We're diving into the stuff I teased last time, Debbie, aka the Warcrime Wagon. Lady Death's Pacification Squads, and their terrifying tools of destruction. Plus, we'll take a look at the Special Asteroid Support Force, the Taurian Concordat's elite defenders who've been a thorn in the side of pirates since the Reunification War. I've got visuals for everything we're covering today, including some iconic pirate leaders and their factions, so this is going to be a wild ride through the dark, gritty side of the Periphery. Let's jump in. Let's kick things off with Debbie, better known as the Warcrime Wagon. This is a custom-built terror machine, rolled out in 3088 by Vengeance Incorporated, a notorious pirate outfit we'll talk more about later. Debbie was made for Douglas Debbie Rocktalk, a pirate who wanted a vehicle for one horrifying purpose, slaughtering civilians en masse. This isn't a war machine for taking on mechs or armies, it's a rolling nightmare designed to raze villages and leave nothing behind. Here's the symbol of Vengeance Incorporated, a broken V in shades of red and gray, reflecting their fractured, chaotic nature. This group has a long history of creating terror weapons, and Debbie is one of their most infamous creations. Debbie's an 80-ton tracked vehicle, slow as dirt with a cruise speed of 21.6 km per hour and a flank speed of 32.4 km per hour. That doesn't matter when your targets are panicked civilians on foot. It's powered by an IC engine with a 1,000 km range, so it can keep going through the Periphery's backwoods for days. Its armament is where things get grim: 9 flammers, 9 machine guns, an SRM-2 traditionally loaded with Inferno missiles, and, brace yourself, a combine. Yes, a farming tool turned into a weapon for mowing down anything in its path. It's got a barrier armor rating of 5, enough to shrug off small arms, and a battle value of just 43, because this isn't built for a fair fight. It's a terror weapon. Plain and simple. Check out this 3D rendering of Debbie, it's exactly as horrifying as you'd imagine. Those heavy tracks are built to roll over anything in its path, and that combine at the front looks ready to tear through a village. You can see the flammers and machine guns mounted on top, with the SRM-2 positioned to rain down Inferno missiles. This thing is a fortress of destruction, designed to leave nothing but ash in its wake. Everything on Debbie is designed for pirate practicality. Her parts can be field repaired with even primitive tools, perfect for a crew hiding out in the middle of nowhere. It takes a crew of 17, 14 enlisted, 3 officers, to keep this beast running, probably because you need that many hands to manage the chaos it unleashes. Rocktalk used Debbie to burn villages to the ground, leaving no survivors to tell the tale. After his death in 3091, the vehicle changed hands multiple times, eventually ending up with a pirate crew fighting the Filtveld Coalition in 3129. That's when it earned its nickname, the Warcrime Wagon, after being used in an anti-infantry role, torching anything that moved. The Thumpers, a mercenary unit working for the Coalition, finally captured it and hauled it back to Filtveld as a trophy. Filtveld, a stubborn periphery world and the heart of the Filtveld Coalition, a small state that broke off from the Federated Sons post-Jihad, probably keeps Debbie as a grim reminder of the pirate threat they face out there. Next up, we've got a unit straight from the Tortuga Dominions, Lady Death's Pacification Squads. You'll remember Paula, Lady Death, Trevaline from Part 1, she ruled Tortuga from 3015 to 3042, and her raids made her a legend. Take a look at this portrait of Paula, Lady Death, Trevaline herself. With her wild red hair, spider leg tattoos on her face, and that black leather jacket bearing a scorpion emblem, she looks every bit the ruthless pirate queen. That scorpion ties her to the Tortuga Dominions, a symbol of her deadly reign. Here's the emblem of the Tortuga Dominions, a menacing black scorpion, representing the fear and control Lady Death wielded over her territory. These pacification squads were her brainchild. Designed to keep control through fear, whether on Tortuga's own worlds or the colonies she raided. They're not your average pirate rabble, these are disciplined, motorized infantry units built to crush resistance with sheer destruction. A standard pacification squad is a platoon of 28 troops, split into 4 squads of 7. They're armed with 20 laser rifles for precision kills and 8 heavy flammers for when they want to burn everything down. Their armor's basic, just standard periphery kit with a barrier armor rating of 1, but they don't need much when their job is to overwhelm. They move at a ground speed of 2 mph, no jump capability, and their transport weight is a lean 6 tons. Making them easy to deploy from a dropship. Their battle value is 56, and their to-hit modifier is 1 at point-blank range, 0 hexes, so they're deadliest up close, where they can watch their targets panic. Check out this sketch of a pacification trooper, it's exactly what I imagine these guys look like. That skull-like helmet with 3 menacing spikes on top, the spiked armor, and that massive flamer connected to a fuel tank on their back. This is a soldier built to terrify. The long coat and heavy boots give them a menacing silhouette, perfect for storming a village and setting it ablaze. You can just feel the chaos they'd unleash on a place like Malagrata. These squads earned their bloody reputation under Gary Tyquam, a later Tortuga leader who took over Death's Consorts, a pirate band tied to Trevaline's legacy. Here's the symbol of Death's Consorts, another black scorpion, similar to the Tortuga Dominions emblem, showing their connection to Lady Death's legacy. During the conquest of Malagrata, a periphery world, Tyquam unleashed the pacification squads on the populace. They rolled through urban districts, reducing entire cities to ash with their flammers while picking off survivors with laser fire. Malagrata's people, mostly unarmed civilians, didn't stand a chance against pirates who thrive on this kind of carnage. To make the pacification squads even more terrifying, some of them roll out on Death Trikes, hand-built, high-speed weapons carriers that are as dangerous to drive as they are to face. These are small, wheeled vehicles, powered by an alcohol-fueled engine with a 1,250 km range, so they can chase down targets across rough terrain. They're fast, cruising at 97 km per hour, with a flank speed of 151 km per hour thanks to a supercharger. That speed comes at a cost, though. They've got a barrier armor rating of just 2, meaning they can't take much punishment. Each Death Trike is armed with a 2-shot SRM launcher, carrying enough ammo for 4 shots total, and it's got an advanced fire control system to make those missiles count. It's a one-man vehicle, so the driver's doing it all, steering, shooting, and trying not to crash. Take a look at this sketch of a Death Trike, it's the perfect ride for a pacification squad. Those oversized, spiked tires are built for rough terrain, and the SRM launcher mounted up front is ready to unleash hell. The whole design screams pirate ingenuity, with a rugged frame, exposed pipes, and a cockpit that looks like it's barely holding together. You can almost hear it roaring through a village, SRMs flying, as the pacification squads burn everything in sight. These trikes were perfect for the pacification squads on Malagrata, letting them hit fast, unleash a volley of SRMs. And then burn out before anyone could organize a defense. They're off-road beasts, built to navigate the rough terrain of periphery worlds, which makes them a favorite for pirates who need to strike and vanish. Before we move on to the defenders of the periphery, let's talk about another infamous pirate leader we mentioned in Part 1, Vance Rezak, the leader of the Band of the Damned. Here's a sketch of Vance Rezak himself, a grizzled, bald man with a beard, exuding authority. He's wearing a jacket with the Band of the Damned's emblem, and you can see his crew in the background, also bearing the same symbol, ready for a fight. This is the emblem of the Band of the Damned, a black V surrounded by stylized flames in yellow, orange, and red, symbolizing their fiery, destructive nature. Vance Rezak was a major player in the periphery during the late 31st century, leading the Band of the Damned on countless raids. They were known for their brutal tactics and willingness to take on anyone, even house militaries, if the payoff was big enough. While they didn't use terror weapons like Debbie or the Pacification Squads, their sheer numbers and ferocity made them a force to be reckoned with, striking fear into the hearts of Periphery worlds. Now, let's shift gears and talk about a group that's been a thorn in the side of pirates like Lady Death and Vance Rezak since the very beginning, the Special Asteroid Support Force, or SASF, of the Taurian Concordat. I mentioned in Part 1 how the Reunification War, 2571 to 2597, planted the seeds for piracy, with resistance fighters and cut-off units turning to raiding to survive. Well, the SASF was on the other side of that fight, and they've been a key player in the Periphery ever since. The SASF was formed with the inception of the Taurian Concordat, way back before the Star League, making it one of the oldest units in the Taurian Defense Force. They're a 5,000-strong, all-volunteer force. Permanently stationed in the Flanagan's Nebula, a cloud of gas, dust, and asteroids surrounding Taurus, the Concordat's capital. The Taurians turned this natural barrier into a fortress, building defensive platforms, assault bases, and supply caches throughout the asteroid field. The SASF mans these facilities, working alongside the Taurian Guards Corps to form the last line of defense for the Hyades cluster. What makes the SASF so formidable is their training and tech. They're experts in zero-G and vacuum combat, using hit-and-fade tactics to cripple even warships. Their bases are dug into asteroids and moonlets, armed with missile and laser emplacements, and designed to make invaders pay dearly. The SASF Marines are the backbone of this force, organized into platoons of 3 10-man squads, each trooper equipped with the XCT Marine exoskeletal armor, the most advanced vacuum/zero-G armor outside the clans. They carry Mark XX laser rifles for ranged combat and vibroblades for close quarters, making them deadly in both hand-to-hand and ranged fights in microgravity. Their battle value is 145, reflecting their elite status, and they're classified as ambushers, perfect for the asymmetric warfare they specialize in. Here's a sketch of an SASF Marine in their XCT exoskeletal armor. It's a perfect concept of these elite defenders. The bulky exoskeleton is built for zero-G movement, with a Mark XX laser rifle in one hand and a vibroblade, shaped like an axe, in the other, ready for close-quarters combat. The reinforced plating and helmet are designed for vacuum combat, and you can see the Taurian sigil on their shoulder, marking them as soldiers who'll fight to the last to defend their home. And here's a painted miniature of an SASF Marine, crafted by David Kerber in 2011. Look at that orange and gray color scheme, it really brings out the rugged, battle-ready vibe of these troops. The Marine is holding their vibroblade, shaped like an axe, raised high, ready to strike, while the other hand grips a weapon that could be their Mark XX laser rifle. The rocky base captures the asteroid terrain they fight on, and the detail in the exoskeleton shows how they're built to survive and fight in the harsh vacuum of the Flanagan's Nebula. The SASF has only failed once in its history, during the Reunification War, when the full might of the Star League overwhelmed them. But even then, they made the invaders bleed for every inch. Pirates like the Belt Pirates, who traced their roots to that same war, learned early on that the Hyades cluster was a no-go zone. The SASF's fanatical loyalty and mastery of asteroid warfare mean they're still a nightmare for any raider dumb enough to try their luck. So, what do Debbie, the Pacification Squads, Death Trikes, and the SASF tell us about the Periphery? It's a battleground where chaos and order clash. Pirates like Lady Death, Vance Rezak, and the crews of Vengeance Incorporated thrive on fear, using terror weapons to dominate the lawless fringes. The Tortuga Dominions, under Lady Death's rule, became a breeding ground for nightmares like the Pacification Squads, while groups like the Band of the Damned and Vengeance Incorporated spread chaos across the Periphery. But units like the SASF show that the Periphery isn't just a playground for raiders, there are defenders who'll fight tooth and nail to protect their homes. The Reunification War set the stage for both, pirates born from desperation, and units like the SASF forged to hold the line. The Filtveld Coalition, a small Periphery state formed after the Jihad, has to deal with horrors like Debbie while carving out their independence. Tortuga Prime, as detailed in Touring the Stars, Tortuga Prime, has been a pirate haven since the 26th century, a breeding ground for nightmares like the Pacification Squads. Meanwhile, the SASF stands as a reminder that even in the periphery, there are forces that can make pirates think twice. That's it for part 2 of our Battletech Pirate Lore series. From Debbie, the Warcrime Wagon, to Lady Death's Pacification Squads, their Death Trikes, Vance Rezak's Band of the Damned, and the SASF's Elite Defenders, we've seen the brutal clash of chaos and resistance in the periphery. What did you think of these units and leaders? Could you face down a Death Trike, or would you rather be an SASF Marine holding the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'm reading every one. Special thanks again to HelkerX26, for the support on part 1, I'm thrilled a Battletech YouTube legend like you enjoyed it. You wanted a Star League Origins video, and I'm working on it, the Age of War and the lead up to the League's formation are coming next. So stay tuned. For now, let me know what you want to hear after that, more pirate tech, a deep dive into Tortuga Prime, or maybe more on the Taurian Concordat. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.